grateful for all of you. Thank you, musicians, singers. Thank you so much. So we're going to talk about seducing your life into a living work of art. Doesn't that sound juicy? Because in every moment of the day, you are either the seducer or the seduced. You're either reeling in what you do want or getting reeled in by what somebody else or some other organization wants of you. Yeah? So to seduce means to entice or lead astray, to win over or lure away. Don't you want to consciously, with volition, lure yourself away from all of the energy-leaking, time-sucking, fear-mongering nonsense in the world? Yes? I get seduced every day, every single day. New face cream comes out on the market. They say it brightens, it tightens, it diminishes fine lines and wrinkles, gets rid of PMS, climate change, whatever. They say it, I buy it. I've got a bathroom cabinet stacked with half-empty jars filled with broken promises, seduced by media and marketing. But you know, we can also get seduced by the past, right? Anybody ever been seduced by the past? Nostalgia? That can be like quicksand for some folks. If they are not mindful, it would take them down. I got taken down in February of 2014. I had been friends with the actor Philip Seymour Hoffman. We kind of came up together. We used to work together. And in February, he passed of a drug overdose of 2014. And when I got the news, I just felt myself get sucked right down the rabbit hole of nostalgia. I was having a hard time spinning myself back out because I just wanted to go back in time. Ever done that? I just want to go back in time. We used to spend like 8, 9, 10, 11 hours at a time in this little office cubicle, talking, never working, talking, philosophizing about life and art and who we were going to be and what we were going to do and how big and bad we were going to take it out into the world. What I would not give for just one more of those conversations. Just one more chance to go back in time. I would listen better this time. I'd do it so much better. I'd be more available. I'd be more present, you know? And maybe I could come up with the most perfect word or phrase or something that would be just enough that he'd still be around today. That is the seduction of the coulda, woulda, shoulda. Ever been seduced by that one? The seduction of just one more chance, one more time. Go back, say yes when you said no, or no when you said yes. To grow a no a heck of a lot earlier in your life, as I shared in my TEDx talk. The seduction of 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes. Sounds so reasonable, right? I just want 5 minutes. Before the diagnosis came in. 5 more minutes before the beloved passed. Before the breakup, before they grew up and left home, just 5 more minutes. I just want 5 more minutes when it was good. 5 more minutes holding Grandpa's hand. When I feel myself begin to step out on this slippery slope of nostalgia, I need to reel myself back in, and I remind myself, life is eternal and love never dies. Those that I have loved who are no longer physically present, I am always connected with. You are always now and forever connected with those that you have loved who are no longer physically present. And the best way that we can honor them is to live for them. To live while you're living, yes? And since there really aren't that many other options, why not? Why not? Why not decide that this is your moment, this is your time, this is an activating seat you're sitting in right now, this is launch time, this is go time, this is our time to take it out into the world big and bad as you please, yes? Yes. And that's how it works. You can get seduced by media and marketing, I can get seduced by the past, but you know, we can get seduced by the future too. Anybody ever been seduced by the future? That great big puppy dog-like desire to know what's going to happen, when's it going to happen, where's it going to happen, how's it going to happen, and by the way, with whom will it happen? That sweet, precious, childlike desire to know that it never goes away no matter what age we become, to know there is a plan for you, and it's a good plan. You are wanted. You are needed. Your presence makes a difference. Let's give that to ourselves right now. Turn to a neighbor, if you will, and just repeat after me. There is a plan for you. And it's a good one. You are wanted. You are needed. Your presence makes a difference. Thank you for showing up. Touch and agree, give a high five, give a hug, give a handshake. Isn't that so nice? I wish I'd known how to give myself that kind of internal voice so much earlier in my life. I spent so much time earlier on figuring out who I am and what I can be based on what other people told me I was or could be. I had a whole period of my life where I did not make a move unless psychic says. Psychic says yes, I do it. Psychic says no, no go. And I have appreciation, I really do, for the visionaries and the role that mediums and visionaries play in a community. But I can't forsake my voice for the voice of another. And that's what I was doing for a while there. I remember, this is so embarrassing to share. I remember I was living in New York City at one point in my little teeny tiny loft apartment. And I woke up one day and I just snapped. Lost it. I called up my psychic. I had her on speed dial. And I was like, where is my man? I want a man. I want to be married. Where is my man? My psychic said, Ojai, California. So I packed up all of my belongings and I moved to the West Coast. Seduced. I got out to Los Angeles like, what have I done? I didn't know anybody, drove up to Ojai, California. I start walking down Main Street in Ojai, California looking for a husband. I'm looking around like a prairie dog in heat, like, I'm gonna sniff him out. People are diving off the sidewalks just to avoid the sheer desperation wafting off of me. I got to the end of the street. I did not, in fact, find a husband. But I'm tenacious, so I turn myself around and I start walking right back up the road. The only man that I passed in all of Ojai, California was the actor Nick Nolte. And this was post that mugshot of his. But I figure, okay, well, I guess Nick Nolte's my husband. It's a sign. So I went all prairie dog on him. I started going, you my husband? You my husband? He avoided me like I was worth the paparazzi. He fled from me. So I started driving back from Los Angeles like, Lord, what have I done? And then it occurred to me, I wasn't actually sure that the psychic had said Ojai. It was a staticky phone call, could have been Ohio. I knew it was an O place, but it could have been Oregon or Oakland or Ashland or, I know Ashland isn't an O place, it's an A place. To tell you the truth, I didn't really know that it was an O place, I just knew it was a vowel. I knew that somewhere in this world, I have a husband-to-be in a vowel city. So I got back to my newly rented apartment in Los Angeles and I did some research. Turns out there are no less than 4,344 vowel cities in the world. And apparently, I had some wayward husband-to-be gallivanting around in one of them. I had not even met my husband yet, and I was already mad at him. It was already on. I figured by the time I finally met him, I'd be like, hi, I'm Julie. Nice to meet you. And then I would turn around and I would bop him upside the head. Like, what took you so long? I finally got to the point where I thought, you know what? I gotta lay down the husband hunt. I gotta just stop trying to track down a man. It is probably best for myself and all of mankind that I do that. And so I completely stopped trying to find a husband for about a week, and I started working on myself. And that was the birth of my book, What's Your What? I got to the point where I was so fed up with trying to find myself in the reflection of another person's eyes. I was done. So I wanted to find out how to become self-inspiring, self-igniting. And for 5 years, I researched every angle of inspiration I could find to figure out how to light my own self up, to become clear about what I am, what I have to offer, what I can give. I studied inspiration from the earliest times, what great philosophers like Plato and Aristotle had to say about it, on up through the Renaissance period, and the role that inspiration played for the great artists to create their masterpieces, all the way up to some of the most brilliant minds of modern day, Nobel Prize-winning scientist Albert St. and renowned psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, who studied the power of flow states, which are heightened states of inspiration. And what happened is, as I did that, I then distilled everything I was learning down into very usable, doable practices and tools that I created in What's Your What. And what the result of that is that I began to vibrate at the level of me. Check that out, vibrating at the level of you. What's that like? And as I vibrated at the level of me, then without efforting, without trying to track anything down or hunt anything down, I began to attract to myself with ease and grace all the right people, places, circumstances, and experience. The Agape International Spiritual Center, which became my home spiritual center, where I have the honor of working with Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith now, my dear friend and teacher. Agape came into my periphery. It was not lost on me that it is a vowel place. Agape came in, and I found my man. That's how it works. You got to do the work. Oh, y'all can give a little bit more for my husband. You got to do the work. You want to become self-inspiring. Why? We want to get to the helm of our seductions rather than be at the whim of them. Get to the helm of your seductions rather than be at the whim of them, because it is so easy to be seduced and not even know it. Every time you turn on the television program, you're so innocent. You just want to sit down and watch the TV. You just want to watch a program, some Real Housewives from somewhere, you know? And as soon as you do, commercials come on. Take a hamburger commercial, for example. You have a beautiful, size 2, bikini-clad model eating a 4,000-calorie hamburger while washing a car. Like, I don't even know what that means. What are we selling here? I need Cliff Notes for this thing. Does it mean if I eat that thing and I let the dead animal juices drip all down my face, does it mean I get to be as pretty as she is? If you eat it, do you get to date somebody as attractive as she is? I just want to bottom line some of this stuff. If you eat the hamburger, let the dead animal juices drip all down your face, do you get a free car wash? At least. Could you get a free car wash? At least. Because what happens is, in every single moment, you are physiologically, psychologically, biologically, chemically, emotionally having responses to everything within your periphery. We are a living organism, and we are constantly responding to everything within our surroundings. That's why when What's Your What, I just loaded up with things like quality infusion breaks and seeding your environment so that it pays you silent dividends, so that you are planting within your environment, whether it's work, whether it's car, whether it's your bedroom or your home space, things that will feed you and source you. For example, when I was writing What's Your What, I had Michael Bernard Beckwith and Kuan Yin staring me in the face every time I sat to write. I had pictures of them, of the excellence that they represent for me. So you know I'm not going to go wander off when I've got to be writing with those two presences like staring me down. Another example, I had the honor of working with Marianne Williamson one day. We shared a stage all day long, and at the end of it, she came over to me and she paid me the highest compliment that I as a speaker could receive. And when she left, I wrote it down, word for word, and then I put it in my work environment. So every time I am about the business of my life's purpose, I'm reminded, I'm buoyed up. That's what we can do. So take a moment and reflect on your life, the different areas of your life. I have a love note that my husband gave me when we were just dating, and it's taped on a piece of furniture where I get dressed in the mornings. It is completely faded. You can't read one word on this thing. It's shredded and ripped and it looks nasty, but every time I see it, it reminds me of a commitment. It reminds me of romance. So go through your life right now and get a sense, what's the area you're ready to energize? What's the area you're ready to awaken? Are you ready to make a leap in the area of wholeness, health, vitality? Are you ready to bring in love and union and connection? Divine right employment, career, life's purpose. What's the area you're so ready to fully ignite? And then notice, what is something that you can either remove from your environment that would make it more conducive, or something you could place in it? A quote, a picture, a symbol, a sound. Take a moment, really do this. Let's let this be an alchemy time. Change metal into gold. What is something that you could really do, a quote, a phrase that you could do today, that you could just seed your environment so that it pays you silent dividends, it feeds you, it nourishes you, it sources you. And now take a moment, so if you weren't really doing this, now you're going to get busted. Take a moment and turn to a neighbor, a different neighbor than before, and just let them know in 10 seconds what you can do today that will help support your environment, make it more nurturing to you. Not right now. And if you haven't switched yet, go ahead and switch back. Just 10 seconds, quick little thing. Just let them know so you have somebody to be accountable to. Good. So now next week when you see these folks, ask them, how did it go? How you doing? Be accountable. And then say, is there something else I can support you in? Let's take this higher. Let's take it further. Let's expand more, yes? Let's let this be it. Let's work together so that you can become the best you could possibly be. And you have the supportive community to do that in, right? Why do we want to go through all this effort? Because it is so easy to get seduced. It's so easy to get seduced even doing things you want to do, things that you know are good for you. I get seduced left, right, and center just trying to meditate. And I like meditating. I have this thing that has been going on now for a while where when I meditate, I feel like I'm climbing into a spaceship. And I feel like I sit down and a harness comes over me, locks me in. Then I feel like I'm spine to spine with the presence of God, and I hear these words. Welcome home. We've been waiting for you. And it feels so good. I just launch right into my meditation practice. I'm floating, I'm flying, I'm totally in it for like 3.6 seconds. Like, yeah, until all of a sudden, apples. Apples! I don't have any apples. I forgot apples. I give my child an apple every day for lunch. I don't have an apple. What am I going to do? All right, I can't focus on that right now. I really need to meditate, but I got to figure out the apple thing later. So I climb back in my spaceship. I sit down, harness over, lock, loaded, click it, stick it, spine to spine with the very presence of God. Welcome home. We've been waiting for you. And it feels so good. Then it feels so good. I don't have a care in the world. All is well. Blueberries. Blueberries. We still have some blueberries on the blueberry bush. My child won't eat them for lunch, but he will have them for breakfast, and that'll be his brain food. So right after I meditate, I'm going to give him a handful of blueberries, give them to him, then he'll be all good. Perfect. Okay, now I can really meditate. So I get back over. Reverend Michael Beckwith likes blueberries. He loves blueberries. I can't believe I didn't pick him any blueberries this season. I kept meaning to. I wonder if he's mad at me. Oh my gosh. I can't believe Reverend Michael's mad at me just because I didn't pick him any blueberries. Okay, I know what I'll do. Right after I meditate, I'm going to get a handful of blueberries off the blueberry bush for my child. I'll get him off to school. Then I'm going to go to the market. I'm going to get a carton of blueberries for Reverend Michael, and I'll give him blueberries. Okay, done. Now I can meditate. No, that'd be kind of weird. That would be kind of weird, right? To be like, here, I bought you some blueberries. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Enough of this. I got to get back to my meditation. All right. Climb back into my spaceship. I sit myself down, harness over, lock, loaded, click it, stick it, spine to spine with the very presence of God. Welcome home. We've been waiting for you. And it feels so good. I just let it all go. Let it all go. I mean, I will let go of this apple thing, but I just have to say, I wouldn't have forgotten apples, okay? I know how many apples my family eats in a week, and I get those apples. I go get those apples. So I don't know what happened, but you know what? I'm going to retrace my steps in the market. That's what I'll do. I'm going to figure this whole thing out. So I go into the market. I got spinach, kale, avocados, grapes. I didn't get the apples. I went to get the cilantro. My husband went to get apples. My husband didn't get enough apples. How could he do that to me? And he's not even around to deal with Applegate. He's off traveling. All right, well, I'm just going to get back to my meditation. Can't believe he's off traveling. I like traveling. I love traveling. How extraordinary is it that I am at a point in my life where I get to travel every single month, going off to different spiritual communities and speaking and doing book signings. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for these centers that we have, these spiritual centers, these hubs, these places, these touchstones where you get to curl up and get nurtured and fed and inspired and branch back out into the world. I'm so grateful for our spiritual centers. I'm so grateful for Reverend Temple and what she's created here. So grateful for Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. You know what? Next season, I will definitely pick him some fresh blueberries. I can really get back to meditating now, so I climb back into my spaceship. I sit myself down, harness over, lock, load it, click it, stick it, spine to spine with the very presence of God. Welcome home. We've been waiting for you. And that, my friends, is the first 5 minutes of my daily meditation practice. I may get off track, but I get back on, and that's what we get to do. That's what we can do. You self-correct until you autocorrect. Got that? Self-correct until you autocorrect. How do we do that? By getting interested. By getting so interested. Get interested in what you are interested in. Can you decide to become more interested in your prosperity than any perceived lack of it? That's not rhetorical. Take a moment. You really consider this, because if you could say yes, it will change your life. Could you decide to become more interested in your prosperity than any perceived lack of it? Yes? Could you decide to get more interested in your love and your joy and your happiness than any old so-and-so who may have played your heart like a hockey puck? Can your energy be on the good? Could you decide to get more interested in your peace? Could we all just decide to become more interested in peace than the scare tactic news stories spread across our television screens for the purpose of ratings and compliance? Could we do that? Yes. And could you decide to become so completely interested in your wholeness, riveted by the genius and the perfection of this body temple that you have? Could you become so interested in your wholeness that it outweighs any unwanted prognosis? Could you do that much? Yes. Because we want to get more interested. You want to become more interested in what you are interested in, so we don't end up letting corporations choose our interests for us by default. Yeah? Yes. Right? Yes. May you become so clear about what your what is, so rooted in an understanding of who you are and what the particular angle of life is that you came here to beam and shine as. That when the seductions of the world start knocking at your door, and they will and they do, because it's life and it happens, you could stare them down one by one by one. Seduce this. Ha! Not when you know who you are. Not when you know that there is a plan for you and it's a good plan. Not when you know that there power in the presence and the loving God moves you and guides you and thrives you. Seduce this? I don't think so. Right? Why is that? Because these are the playing fields. Did you know that? This is the playing field. What you're in right now is the playing field. This is the opportunity. This is the moment to stretch and grow and try and give everything. Go for it all the way. To stumble and fall and fail and pick yourself back up again. This is our time to take it out into the world big and bad as you please. Yes? Yes. May you be boldly unwavering in your convictions, and may you seduce your life into a living work of art. Yes? Many blessings to you.